Hello, everybody. This is Gregory with 5-Minute Catholic Apologetics and Living, where 5 minutes every time may get you to the divine. Today, we're going to talk about the importance of having a group of like-minded Catholic friends in your life and how that can augment and improve your Catholic living. Now, before we begin, let's start with a prayer. Nomine Patris et Filii et Spiritui Sancti. Amen. Gloria Patri et Filio et Spiritui Sancto, sic ut era in principio et nunc et semper et saecula saeculorum. We have similar videos here in the last year and a half or 2 years of this channel's existence. I would say a year and a half. You should immerse yourself in Catholic content. So in other words, stay away from as much as you can from Netflix and pop culture and Disney Plus and certainly regular mainstream news, because ultimately that stuff isn't really good for you. How to tithe your time and other kind of Catholic living kind of themes and motifs. One of the important ones is having a group of Catholic friends. We are social creatures, and similar to it's not good for you to be alone, and it's not good for you not to interact with other people, because we are social creatures and we need that outlet. And social media just isn't that outlet. You know, there's that old saying, it's like the more cyber friends you have, the less real friends you have. But we are social creatures and we need to have friends. And what better friends to have in your life that are like-minded Catholic friends? I have a lot of friends from my college days that I still talk to, I have group threads with, but many of them, in fact, most of them are not Catholic, or they're lapsed Catholics, or they were just kind of raised secularist. And I'm still friends with them because I'm not going to judge them for that. But you might have friends in your life who just, you don't share similar values. And we are tribal in nature. Let's be honest. It's always been us versus them. We trust the us, and you're a them, you're a stranger, until you can demonstrate you're one of us, and then we accept you. And so it is normal. And this is something that the social engineers and the cultural Marxists will never understand. Like when they used to do busing in the 1970s, when they used to send poor kids to bus them to rich schools and bus the rich kids to poor schools, you know, all this social engineering, they never understood it. And you see the tribalism best demonstrated, I think, in public school cafeterias. Think of Mean Girls, you know, that scene in Mean Girls, where like-minded people will hang out with you. The geeks will hang out with each other, the Asians will hang out with each other, the jocks will hang out with each other, and let it be. That's just the way it is. We will seek out commonality in people. So with this in mind, yes, it is great if you can find like-minded Catholic men and women who share your values, because then you're not going to have to worry about like having to kind of cover up the fact that you're pro-life, or the fact that maybe you don't contracept and you believe in large families, or that you're not really that happy about the homosexual marriage agenda or the transgender agenda, or you know, whatever it is. It's great to just be with like-minded Catholic people that you can just talk about the faith with. And that's the other thing. It's just like, how many of your friends can you talk about the Memorare, or talk about the Rosary, or the Chaplet, or talk about your favorite saint, or whatever it is? It's great to have that outlet. So how do you get this outlet? Well, it's tough, because we've talked about a couple times here how the American parish is not really set up for this. And we talked about on that history episode I did about post-World War II suburbia Catholic and Protestant movements and how they were different. So your parish in some ways is still going to probably be the number one place, but don't expect the parish to do this. You can use the parish to find groups or to create a group, but the parish itself is not really equipped to do that. In the old days, like 100 years ago, this wasn't a problem because we lived in Catholic neighborhoods. Whether you were a Pole or a Mexican or an Italian, you lived in that neighborhood. So you already had these groups, either through familial connections or friend connections. Nowadays, I would probably tell you, you can use social media. For sure, you can try Facebook and just Google Catholic groups in your town, especially if you live in a big town. But typically, the parish is the best way to do it. So you can go through the bulletin, for example, and see if there's a Bible study. Now, typically, the Bible studies are typically, I know this 4 times, middle-aged or older people. So if you're my age or younger, let's say you're a young couple, 20s and 30s, probably that's not the best route. If there's a homeschooling outreach in the area, that's a good route. If there's some sort of young mothers group at your parish, that's probably a good route. Contact them and just ask, like, hey, when are your meetings? And you go to these meetings, and then from there, maybe you can talk to these people and then either find out if they're doing like a monthly dinner or a weekly meetup. And then if not, maybe you can create, or just, hey, let's meet up at the park. We all have kids, let's meet up at the park. And every 2 weeks, let's make this a routine and impress upon them the importance of having like-minded Catholic friends, because having that, you can live a fine life without having a Catholic friend network, but having a Catholic friend network, I would say, ameliorates your faith, and it adds happiness to your life. And that these people that you're going to meet share like-minded values as a whole. Now, of course, there could be fighting, and we all suffer from the sin of concupiscence, and we're all struggling with the 7 deadly sins and so forth. So there might be people in the group that you might not like, or you might be jealous, or whatever it is. But as a whole, if you're seeking out friends, whether you move to a new town or new parish, it's better to seek out Catholic friends than seeking out atheist friends or whatever, because you're just going to have a bigger failure rate with the atheist friends in the long run, because either A, they're not going to want to be friends with a holy roller Catholic, or B, you're going to be like, I can't be friends with somebody who doesn't support my values or maligns my views on the existence of God, for example. So these are some tips. So reach out, find Catholic friends, and or create a routine where you meet each other on a certain amount of time, and then nurture those relationships, build those relationships, because again, we're all social creatures, and it's just great to have a lot of friends. You can have these relationships could last for decades, if not the rest of your life, and the children can be close and all these things, and just do your best to find these things, because as a whole, they're typically going to improve your life. Guys, post in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Do you have one of these groups? Hit the notification, subscribe, and share button. Until next time, take care. God bless and bye.